I've seen lots of artists share beautiful finished sketchbook tours, but I don't think I've ever seen anyone share this many unfinished sketchbooks. So today I am going to flick through every single one of my unfinished sketchbooks, and I think we're going to discover something that I wish more artists would talk about. And yes, they really are all unfinished. So get cozy, grab a cuppa, and let's talk about something magical. Before we start, I just wanted to say something that is quite important. I'm going to do these in size order, by the way. So we're going to start from the smallest and work to the biggest. But I've watched a lot of sketchbook tours over the last few days, and something I've noticed that people are often really hard on themselves, and they say things like, oh, this page is awful, or I hate this drawing, or my art used to be terrible. I am not going to do any of that today. Not because every single page is amazing, but because we are all learning. Some of you watching will be far beyond where I am, and some of you might have only painted on your very first page. And I never want someone to hear me criticise my own work and think, well, if she thinks that's bad, what does she think of mine? So today we are just going to enjoy looking through all of these together. And one more thing, some people would probably call these abandoned sketchbooks. I don't. I think that they are just unfinished because I do come back to them, sometimes months later, sometimes years later, but they are all part of my creative life. So let's begin with this little one, which is my go-to travel Toby O's sketchbook, and as you have seen, I have got loads of little mini watercolor sketches from out and about. This one I will be taking on holiday with me this year, and I can't wait to add some more pages. Okay, so this is my first Royal Talons Art Creation sketchbook, and I almost didn't include this one, but I think it's important to show. That's it. So I started this sketchbook at the same time as I started this one, but I was just loving the size of the paper in the smaller sketchbook, so I thought this would be another travel sketchbook, but it is completely empty. It will get used for something, but it is currently not my go-to, so this one is just waiting in the wings, ready to be used. What I did discover was I like the shape of this one for carrying about daily slightly better. So this one is not abandoned. We will come back to it. But I'm a fan of having sketchbooks for different purposes. Some for traveling, some for carrying in my pocket. This one, I do all sorts in it. I write notes, I plan out ideas, I do little doodles, I work with pencil and biro in this one. But I also have other sketchbooks that are for studio work, some for my membership, keeping little notes, as you can see, some for experimenting, some for ideas. I use ones for mixed media, some specifically for acrylics, and I think it's okay. I amn't collecting sketchbooks, I'm collecting places to think. So I am an absolute fan of having tons and tons of sketchbooks, and I am not remotely concerned that not a single one of these is finished. I love how this page turned out. I challenged myself to only use biro. So I've got black pen, blue pen and red pen, and it meant any mistakes that I made had to be worked into the piece because I could not rub them out. So I'm also tempted to start a sketchbook where I only do ink drawings and just call it an ink book, because I think that would be a really fun way to make yourself make marks, practice, and not get too precious about being perfect, because you just have to include all of your mistakes and make the little sketchbook pages work. This is probably my most carried on the go sketchbook at the moment. As you can see, so many different ideas. I take it lots of different places. I use this one in the house as well as out and about, but again, it's still a work in progress. These are another couple of ones that I've taken traveling, and years ago I'd probably have thought something like, I have to finish this before starting a new one, but I don't really believe that anymore. I think it's okay to have lots of different sketchbooks on the go. It's somewhere to practice, somewhere to play, and somewhere to experiment. This is a brilliant little pad. As you can see, it is a little watercolor postcard set, which means the back of each page has got your postcard design on it. I've never yet been brave enough to paint something, pull it out and then post it, but it does leave you a nice place to add the date and a little note about the painting. This was the one that I took on holiday to Barcelona, and where I really tried to encourage myself to do as many little doodles while out and about. So not just specific sketching time, actually while we were out exploring the city. And I'm really pleased with how some of these turned out. Particularly love this one going over the 2 pages and the kind of hint of the buildings in the background. And then I took it on my next little holiday, which was to a cottage down south. So a couple of little studies of the cottage there, because it was so picturesque and so beautiful. And then I had this with me when my daughter ended up in hospital. So we've got a crazy little mushroom character idea that I did to try and distract myself and keep myself entertained instead of worrying too much about her. I've let my daughter do a couple of pages in the back here because we didn't have any other paper with us. But again, quite a few pages left to finish in here. This one would have got finished, but I totally switched to this little guy for traveling, and that's why. Those are all my mini sketchbooks, so let's move on to something a little bit bigger. This is a handmade sketchbook that I tied myself, and actually at some point what I need to do is swap all of these ribbons out for some thread or for some string, because they don't stay tight enough and they make the sketchbook fall apart. Now, I took this one with me on a few different trips, and I ended up just mostly using it for ideas. This was actually the original idea for the daily art challenge, and maybe one day I will get back to doing something like this. And then I broke my wrist, and that whole plan changed, and I ended up doing the little mini 7x7 canvases instead. So I had this out and was just exploring how that idea was going to work. I've used it when I've just needed some scrap paper, but I think that's it.
mostly because it falls apart. I think if I restrung it and rethread it and made it a bit better and tighter, then absolutely I would use this more. But now this is probably my most finished sketchbook that I've got today, and it just starts with talking about sketching, drawing, how to use a pencil, how to hold a pencil, how to do shading, and this was all part of a little workshop that I did for people. And then it talks about composition, and actually everybody got one of these sketchbooks as part of the workshop. So the whole first little section is about that. Love this little thumbnail value sketch. And actually, do you know what? I think I'm really tempted to turn that into a bigger painting, or maybe even a bigger sketchbook idea. So I think I'll come back to that one. More composition, thumbnails, and then it just moves on to actually out and about sketching. That was part of the workshop. We actually went out and did some plein air sketching, and then after that it just moves on to me using this sketchbook for all sorts of crazy little drawings and ideas. I was into painting fairies for a little while. Oh, there's a blind contour drawing that I did. That's a really fun concept to do. Oh, so many different crazy little ideas. This was for a video. This was a little snail that I was going to put into a painting. My members asked me about proportions, so I did them a little proportion sketch talking about that, and then we sketched in some little fairies there. And this, I can never get rid of this sketchbook ever, because this sketchbook is the one where the Mushwood gang was born. So this is the very original, very first Mushwood sketch, and then we had the Chanterelles, and then we had the Percini clan. Oh my god, I love these little sketches so much. The Birch Knights. I think there are other sketches for other Mushwoods in other sketchbooks now, but these were the original few Mushwood sketches. So happy about those. And again, this is me showing members how to sketch out animals. We were doing a moon gazing hare painting for that. Oh yeah, there is the Sprigcap sisters, which these guys came about during winter, so they're all very festive. And then I spent a bit of time doing a larger drawing of Merryweather with a little letter, because there may or may not still be a snail mail club coming soon. I've got plans. I'm still working on it. I want to get it all together before I launch it. And then yes, we have some blank pages. Then we have a random Mushwood sketch page and some more blank pages. Composition dividers, and then a page that my daughter drew. Now this is one of my newer sketchbooks, back to my Royal Talents art creation obsession, and you can probably already see there are only a few pages right at the beginning of this done. When I was clearing up my studio, I also found these. So my plan is that I'm going to use them and collage them into my sketchbook. Maybe just leave them as they are, but I don't want to just stick them in. I feel like I could add extra details, maybe little bits of color, maybe mixed media or something like that. This is one of my first big mixed media pages that I've done in the last year. I used to do a lot of these, but as my styles developed, I had moved away from it, but I was so excited to come back and try this out. I've got markers, I've got decoupage paper, I've got old wrapping paper, notepads. This is a sticker. We've got oil pastels over the top. I've got metallics, you name it. I've just used everything on here, and I absolutely love how this page turned out. Then I've got a little pencil sketch looking at shadow and perspective with this one. It was actually a session that I did with my members, and we talked a little bit about composition and some color study because we were getting an idea together for a bigger painting. And then we did another collage mixed media page, and this is the kind of idea for the painting that we are building up. And I'm absolutely loving how these mixed media pages are turning out, but that's it, nothing else. But this is definitely a studio sketchbook. It's not one I'm going to take places, and I definitely want to do some more of this style in here. This one is a lot different. This is my sketchbook that I plan out and work out the paintings that I am going to do with my members. So every single one of these paintings, they're all in acrylics, were online live classes that I did with my members, which also means that every single one of these paintings is also available in the library that you get access to when you join my membership. So this is a slightly different sketchbook because it's not for play, it's not for experimenting, it is for me planning out a lesson. So every single page of this sketchbook is a finished painting. It is the only sketchbook that I have like that, but I thought I would still give you a little sneak peek because again, it is unfinished. We are down to the last 3 sketchbooks, so let's check out what's in this one. This is a little fun sketchbook page with one of my Mushwood characters, and I was just testing out some new acrylic paint markers that I had. I actually love how they worked and turned out, so I definitely need to get myself a few more studio sketchbook sessions so that I can play with those some more. This was me experimenting with a whole set of metallic supplies that I bought, and again, absolutely love how they went on the page, how this one turned out. Definitely need to do some more experimenting with those too. This is just a super simple sketchbook study that I just was testing out for fun. And then do you know what? Again, I've got a whole bunch of testing. So that's the metallic pencils, that's some oil pastels, these are water soluble pens, that's metallic markers. Can't even remember what they are. Useful of me to write on there. Always write on your sample pages what supplies they are, because that would be helpful. This is my metallic markers, this is my metallic oil pastels, and that's my metallic watercolors. Again, plan to put these in here somehow so that I've got my kind of sample sketchbook. But other than, how many pages have I done? 1, 2, 3. This one is still unfinished. Second last sketchbook, and this is the sketchbook that I started as part of my Stop Scrolling and Start Sketching series. So there is a ton of videos on YouTube with every single page in this sketchbook available for you to watch and follow along. So if you are interested in doing any of these, then they are all available. Absolutely loved how this turned out. This was super relaxing to do. This one I ended up turning into a painting, and last week you probably saw me painting something similar onto a bag, so those are worth checking out as well. Lots of fun, how to fill a sketchbook ideas. This is my absolute favorite. I am a huge fan of putting down color and then using ink or pen to do detail over the top. So I love how that one turned out. And yep, you guessed it, that's all. But a really nice, fun set of drawings in there. And the final sketchbook is one that I have been working with a fair amount recently. So let's have a little chat through this one. I started this sketchbook with the idea of using it as a kind of visual diary. So I was putting in the date and then I was drawing little things from my day. And I managed to do that for a few days, and then I broke my wrist. So then my daily diary became left hand practice. I practice drawing with my left hand and practice writing with my left hand. So I did a fair amount of practice with that. And then I think this kind of tails off once I started the daily art challenge, because that was taking up all of my time. But I've also used this for sketching. I have taken this on holiday with me, and I did this while on an airplane, and my daughter did this while on an airplane. I love just letting her doodle in my sketchbooks. It makes it so special. This is an idea that my daughter gave me, and she wanted me to write it all down and draw it up. We did. Again, you can see I got a bit obsessed with the circle idea and the mushrooms. That is a running theme, and I think that's the end of the brown paper. But this is a sketchbook of 2 halves, and we've also got the white paper. These guys never got named. They didn't get characters or anything. So if you guys have got any idea what we're going to call this mushwood family, then let me know. I don't even know what type of mushrooms they are. I was just inspired to do that. I did have this sketchbook on holiday. So this is a ceiling of a hotel that I was staying in. Just fun, bright, colourful pages. I like doing these little semi-scrapbook pages as well. And this is just with the supplies that I carry. You might start seeing some of the ideas from the stop scrolling, start sketching videos, because I would sometimes experiment in here before recording them for YouTube. Here's a few more of ideas, ones that didn't make it and ones that did make it. The original tree drawing from that didn't include this idea either, but I think that's really beautiful. I love how that one turned out. Definitely included these. These are such a fun way to fill a sketchbook. Just little backgrounds and then little doodles on top. Obviously for me, I love flowers, frogs, mushrooms. Oh my goodness, love how this one turned out. I totally forgot about this one. This is Tibby Toadstool and Muddles the snail, and they're out having a little picnic. But again, that is it. That is not finished either, and that is okay.
Well, that's all of them, and looking through these, I don't see a single one of these as failure. I just see them as different seasons of my creative life. Some have 1 page in them and some are nearly full. Some I haven't looked at in months and some I haven't looked at in years. But I know that I will go back and I will pick them up and I will finish them. Every single one of these sketchbooks helped me become the artist that I am today. So if you have a pile of unfinished sketchbooks somewhere, maybe don't think of them as abandoned, maybe think of them as waiting. Because sketchbooks aren't really there to be perfect, they are there to be used, even if that's just one tiny page at a time. Now, I think I might go finish one of these.
There we go. Not abandoned anymore.
So remember, just play, create, relax, and you will make something magical.